Welcome to Doors to Hope and Healing, an inside look at the many facets of work that is happening at the Department of Children and Families, between our staff, the families we serve, and our community partners. My name is Jacqueline Ford. I have had the honor of working for the department for almost 30 years. And although I may be familiar with many of the topics we bring to you, I have invited experts in those fields to help us dispel the myths and misconceptions that can often be barriers to our work. Join us as we open our doors and invite you to have a seat at our table. Hi, Craig. Thank you so much for being on Doors to Hope and Healing. It's a pleasure to have you back on the set.
Well, thank you very much, Jackie. It's a pleasure to be here.
So there's so many different moving parts to the Department of Children and Families, and I know that the work that you supervise, the work that you do in your unit that you're going to talk to us about is so instrumental to keep our ship moving and to make sure that the resources and supports are offered to the social workers and to the families. Can you introduce yourself to the viewers?
Sure. My name is Craig Pazdar. I am the Supervisor of Transportation Operations for the Department of Children and Families.
And what is the Central Transportation Unit?
The Central Transportation Unit is a unit that was developed about 2.5 years ago. It was the brainchild of our former CFO, Cindy Butterfield. She was looking at ways to cut down on costs for the department. The department was spending millions of dollars a year in hiring outside services to provide transportation for their clients. Cindy was crunching the numbers, looked at the books, and came up with the idea of their own central transportation unit. Mm-hmm. So they decided to give it a go, and they started with 5 drivers back in January of 2020. And then COVID came, mm-hmm. and as you know, kind of shut everything down. And about 9 months had passed, and they finally brought in 20 additional drivers in September of 2020. Mm-hmm. Fast forward to present day, and we are now up to 54 drivers. We have 2 office assistants currently and 2 assistant supervisors of transportation.
Wow, that's very impressive how that's grown. COVID kind of put a stop to a lot of different things.
Yeah, no doubt.
So tell me, what type of training do the staff that you have, because when your staff are working with a delicate population of people, with people that come to us with many different needs, and we're there to help and support them, what kind of training does your staff receive? Yeah,
they go through extensive training prior to being put on the road, and it's important for our drivers to realize the needs of the clients and to look out for certain signals that the client might be going through some difficulties and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Currently, our drivers go through simple bloodborne pathogen training, CPR first aid, AED training, car seat safety and installation. They go through DCF 101 mandated reporter training, mm-hmm. Implicit bias and cultural diversity, trauma toolkits, substance misuse, crisis intervention, and the Academy has just added or recommended 2 additional trainings for our drivers. So they're adding advancing anti-racism with child welfare, and that's a 2-day training. So
that's wonderful that they have that training. So similar to a new DCF social worker trainee, a lot of that same training they're learning about all of those important aspects of the work that we do.
Absolutely, it gives our drivers the tools necessary that they need to recognize when there might be a crisis developing or something's going on with our clients. Mm-hmm. And with that training, it's helped immensely, because we do, as soon as our drivers recognize there might be something going on, they immediately will let us know. They'll pick up the phone, give us a call, and explain to us what's going on, and then we'll take that information, and the drivers will file a report. We'll take that report and provide that information to the assigned social worker to that client, mm-hmm. and let them, make them aware of what's going on and let them deal with it in the appropriate manner.
And are they doing that training before they even begin, you said?
That's correct. Mm-hmm. Once they're onboarded or brought in and hired, they won't go on the road or do any driving until they've completed pretty much all these trainings. Mm-hmm. On occasion, we might have to send them out, but for the most part, until the training's complete, they won't go on the road.
And are there ongoing trainings offered throughout their employment?
We do refreshers, mm-hmm. More so with the CPR first aid and the car seat safety. Myself and a couple of the assistant supervisors, the Academy was nice enough to train us. so we can actually perform those trainings for our drivers now in-house.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that makes it, you don't have to wait until that training's offered either if you're,
Correct.
when you're onboarding.
Yes.
So I know there's a lot of different things that we're going to talk about what your staff do, but what role does your staff play in ongoing cases where children and families are working with us? Maybe the children are in foster care or the parent is visiting. What kind of roles does your staff play?
Well, besides the transportation aspect of it, our drivers, they go, they greet the clients, they drive them to their destination, whether it be a visit, it could be a job. They might, we do take high school kids and some older kids who are in DCF care, we'll take them to their part-time jobs or whatever. But aside from that, I think one of the important roles that our drivers play is they develop bonds or relationships with these clients because they spend a lot of time with them in the car. I mean, granted, some transports could be 15 minutes, but there's others that we're going from one end of the state to the other. And, they're in the car for that amount of time, and our drivers start to develop, like I said, these relationships, and they're able to communicate with these clients and get to know them, and the clients get to know our drivers. And we try to keep the same drivers with the same clients as much as possible so they can develop those bonds. And that is an integral part of it, because as our drivers get to know these clients, they can tell when something's off. And something might be bothering this client, and they a lot of times will confide in the drivers and talk to them and let them know what's going on. And our drivers, they're not social workers, they're not counselors by any means, so we're not out there giving advice on their cases or anything like that. But our drivers can at least empathize with them and try to talk them through it using the tools that they've learned in their trainings.
Do they have to take any notes or any narrative on the transports?
On the basic transport, if it's a clean transport, nothing happens, and no, they don't have to. They just let us know they've completed their trip and they're on to their next one, and that's it. If we do get an instance, it actually happened this past weekend. One of our drivers was transporting a young female, and she was talking about an incident where some of her friends and herself actually were being solicited online on this website. Wow. And our driver, was listening and talking to her, and the client described what was going on with these solicitations. She immediately called us, let us know what was going on. We had her type up a report immediately, send it to us, sent it off to the social worker, and that way, social worker is dealing with it appropriately.
Oh, wow.
So,
and I'm sure that is because your driver established a relationship with this young person and she felt safe to share that.
That's correct.
Our last segment, we did talk about human trafficking and how important it is for that awareness, for everyone to know what the signs are and how to make that report like your staff person did.
Yes.
That's wonderful. So tell us, what types of transports do you do? If we're talking about the parents, where would you be picking the parent up at home and bringing them to a visit? What types of roles do you play? Yeah,
we'll pick them up, take them to visits. A lot of times they'll have to go to evaluations for the court, court-ordered evaluations. So we'll take them there. We'll take them to, there's been times actually where we've taken people to the supermarket so they can get some groceries.
Wow.
So we get asked to do just about anything.
Right, and the hours are there different shifts that your staff work?
We run 4 different shifts during the day, but basically our hours are 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. We do work on the weekends. That's on a volunteer basis only for our drivers because they do work a lot of overtime during the week, and they deserve to be home with their families as well.
They do.
But I can't think of the last time we even declined a transport on the weekends. So basically we're 7 days a week.
So how did we manage before the Central Transportation Unit was born?
What used to happen is, as I stated previously, they used to outsource a lot of the transportation to private vendors. And as I said, it cost the agency a lot of money, millions of dollars. It was either outside vendors or the social workers had to do it. And that was one of the great things about developing this unit, is it now allows the social workers more free time. So they're not spending hours and hours a day in the vehicle when they can be in their office doing the work that they need to be doing.
And I think that just the sensitivity around making certain that you have that same driver who's building that relationship, because it could be scary to a child to be picked up by someone that they don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and I've had the pleasure of meeting many of your drivers, and the investment that they have in the children and families that you're serving, you know, is profound. And I think that's a testament to, you know, how you're supervising the unit. How long would you say is a typical assignment for one of your staff?
We could get a request in that could be just a one-time thing. It could just be today and that's it. There's other requests that come in that could last for a year or longer. It just depends on the type of case it is, what's going on with the parents or the biological parents or the foster or the children, the foster homes. There's a lot of variables that go into it. So there's no set time on the case. It just, as long as the biological parents put in the work that they need to put in and take care of what they need to take care of, you know, the case can go rather smoothly and end up, you know, finishing quicker than say a couple of years.
Right, which is a good thing. You know,
absolutely.
That's a, you know, a happy ending to a case. So if there was one of those assignments where it was a year-long, you know, assignment where they have to go for counseling or evaluations or whatever it is, it's always the same worker for as long as they're employed with us or as long as the schedule can work.
That's our intent. Sometimes, you know, unfortunately, we'll have to change things up just because of the things that come in and, you know, what makes more sense logistically and things like that. But we do make every effort to try and keep the same driver with the same client. Because it's so nice to have a driver, and I was fortunate enough because I started off as a driver, and when I became a supervisor, I still had this client that I was kind of doing both jobs at once because I was assigned to this 2-year-old little girl, and I transported her a couple times a week. So, and it was later in the evening, so I would do the supervisor thing during the day, and then I would go and pick this little girl up and bring her up to Torrington and then bring her back down to Danbury and get home late at night. But it was so worth it because I got to see the end result of reunification. Oh, so she went home with her bio family. Yeah.
And I think I was just going to ask you that before you touched upon that. Why do you think that this role that you and your staff have with these families is so important?
I think one of the most important things is by keeping the same driver with the clients, we create a sense of stability and trust. And our drivers are, I have to say, we have the greatest staff in the world. I'm very fortunate to work with the people that I do. They are incredible individuals, and they go out of their way to do anything they can to make these clients feel welcome, and they'll do anything they can to help them. And I think that's one of the most important things is the relationships that they build, because they spend a lot more time, and it's not the social worker's fault, but I really feel that they spend a lot more time with the clients only because of the drive time. You know, it's, you know, we might be driving 2 hours for a 1-hour visit. Right. But those 2 hours, you know, there, and then the 2 hours back, you're with the client for 4 hours, and that bond that they're able to create, you can't replace that. No, you can't. And I think it's so important, you know, what you're touching upon for our viewers to hear, and for even our staff at DCF who will be accessing your service to hear, is that this isn't just a taxi service. It's not just an Uber driver that's taking a child or a parent from one place to the other. It's really establishing those relationships, and the training, I think, is, you know, just so important, because then your staff have an understanding of the trauma and the triggers and what to look for, and establishing those really lifelong family ties. When we talk so much about making sure that our kids, our families have someone in their life that's consistent, you know, it could be this person who's driving them, could be someone that this child looks forward to seeing every week. Oh, definitely. Definitely. I always say that our drivers are the eyes and ears of DCF. Just because of, like I said, the duration of time that they spend in these vehicles, talking to these clients, they hear and see a lot of things. And it's very important. And they're able, with that training, you know, we touched on that, with that training, it gives them the tools that they need to focus and listen. And it's not like they're dissecting everything that the client's telling them, but their training allows them to pick up on certain indicators that there might be an underlying problem going on. And there's been times, honestly, where our drivers have reported something, and we've made the social worker aware, and the social workers come back and said, "Oh, no, this is usual behavior from this client. There's nothing to worry about, because they do these types of things." But you know, it was great that our driver was proactive and said, "Hey, you know, this is what I heard. I'm not sure what's going on, but something seems off."
Right.
And like I said, it could turn out to be nothing, but it could be something. And it's important for our drivers to recognize that and to let us know so we can let the social workers know.
And I'm sure they learn that even through their mandated reporter training, that you don't need proof to have that suspicion that something feels off or something just doesn't feel right. And that the social worker is responsible for looking into that to see. And I'm sure that they're grateful that they have another set of eyes and ears that can, help them assess a case, from the beginning until the end.
Definitely.
So I've had personal experience in working with you and your staff who have helped me at the Olive Branch store that DCF has, where we service families with new donations. In addition to what you've done for me, what other types of roles do you and your staff play outside of that, normal transport that may be a one-time situation or a long-term?
Aside from the transportation aspect and being fortunate enough to work with you with the Olive Branch, which is just a great store, our drivers have been able to, excuse me while I look at my notes, I don't want to miss anything here.
No.
Well, our drivers have, for DCF last year, the social workers received Social Worker Appreciation Month gifts. We were tasked with the job of actually assembling and delivering over 3,000 gift boxes.
Wow.
So we were able to do that to help out the agency. We've distributed welcome back blankets to all staff. There was over 3,000 of those as well. We've put together over 3,000 welcome back gifts, like I said, but we also did the Social Worker Appreciation. I apologize, I'm backtracking here.
Well, it's because you all do so much.
Well, yeah, we assist with a lot of different projects and we provide a lot of services for central office. But our unit itself, we also kind of do our own little thing too. This past Thanksgiving, we did our own in-house food drive to assist the Amazing Grace Food Pantry in Middletown. And we were able to donate over 176 pounds of healthy, nutritious foods. And we also were able to gather and deliver to them pet food and stuff like that, and personal hygiene products and everything else.
So with that outreach that you did for that that nonprofit or that need that they had, was it something that you all agreed upon, or do you find different things or different types of needs, causes that are out there that you all unite on?
This was something that actually just came about. One of my assistant supervisors had recommended this particular place, and we had chosen that one, and we're looking to expand actually. So we're thinking about doing another drive for Easter, and then we'll circle back and obviously Thanksgiving, and then we'll try to do them throughout the year, I think, because we got great results. People went above and beyond. Our drivers did. It wasn't just like one can of green beans or anything. They brought in all kinds of different things for these families. So it's something that we're going to continue with and build upon, kind of like what you did with the Olive Branch. You took it from a small little place into a beautiful store and with tons of items and everything else. So that's what we're looking to do.
And I think that the appreciation, the gratitude that you feel from who's benefiting is what drives you to keep wanting to do more and be more. And I think that it also shows the heart of the staff that we have at the Department of Children and Families, how much they want to help the community.
Oh, absolutely. My drivers aren't there just to collect a paycheck. They're there to help out and do anything they can, and they constantly go above and beyond, and I'm very fortunate to have them.
And they also do the toy drives, right? I know that you picked up bicycles and helped with that, because you have the big trucks that you have that capability of being able to move big things like that. Yeah,
well, it's a good thing we do have access to a box truck, because we fill it up for you.
Yes, yes, you do.
We get to go to the various restaurants and locations where you do hold the fundraisers and stuff like that, and we're able to go down and pick up all the toys for you and get them over to the Olive Branch in Glastonbury. And the bike drives, that's down in Guilford, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And we are able to pick those up with the truck and deliver those to various offices. And it's wonderful that we're able to do that.
Well, I think it's important for people, our viewers, to hear, and as well as our staff to understand that when people want to make a donation, we want to accept that donation, but there's a lot of moving parts to getting those items. And sometimes you just can't put it in a state car. And sometimes the person who wants to donate doesn't have the means to get that item to you. So, having your unit and the willingness that you have, and knowing that your staff are not there just to collect a paycheck, because you can feel it when you have the opportunity to meet them, that you've made things possible, for our children and families to be, to benefit from what the community wants to do for us. And I know that, speaking personally about the work that you're doing, even when we had a Siblings Connection Camp last summer, your staff made it possible for many of the children to get to that beach event, that day camp in Brantford. You make it possible for our kids and our families to participate in things that they may just not have been able to do because our social workers are so busy and they have, their caseloads and responsibilities to deal with. When you can kind of pass along this one task to somebody who really wants to be there and they really want to be with those kids and those families, it's just, one thing that you don't have to worry about. And that's what your staff have done for us.
Oh, yeah, they have. They've done a great job with that. And, during the summertime, it just reminded me, I forgot about the camps. There's, the requests that come in throughout the entire summer, we're moving kids all over the place, depending on where their camp is going to be. But yeah, there's nothing better than seeing the smile on the children's face when they come. You drop them off in the morning, they're all excited to get there, and then you pick them up at the end of the day, and they're just like, it's like they haven't lost any energy. They're just like, oh my God, they're all hyped up from everything, and
they want to spill with all the details of their day. So, what do you feel is is that kind of magic, that medicine that keeps the camaraderie that, I haven't met one of your staff who haven't been so pleasant, appearing to absolutely love their job, but to speak so fondly of you. And that doesn't come, you build that. So what do you feel is that magic that you create in your unit?
I don't know if it's anything I do personally. I think it's a testament to my drivers themselves. It's their personalities and just the way they're wired. They're just happy-go-lucky and just want to help. They have a great mentality, and this is nothing. You can't train people to do that type, to act the way that they do. That's all internal, and I think it's a testament to them and their ability to come to work every day with a smile on their face and want to make a difference. And I'm fortunate to have those drivers. I've got 54 of them right now. We're looking to hire 5 more. And I can't say a bad thing about any of them.
Wow,
they're just great, and they just want to do the right thing and help wherever they can.
Well, and I agree with you. You come with your personality, and you're also going through an interview process. So you're vetting, who's applying for this job, and if you feel that they can make an impact on the work. But it's also fostering that climate and the culture within your division and within your work to keep them supported. Yeah,
definitely. And then we do fun things in the throughout the year. As we've added more drivers and a little more office staff. We just actually, this past Super Bowl weekend, last Friday, we had a chili cook-off.
Oh, that's fun.
So people brought in their various chili recipes, and we had small little, Jamie, one of my office assistants, she put together little gift bags for the winners and stuff like that. We have ugly sweater contests for Christmas time, for the holiday season. For Halloween, we did a, Halloween costume party, so to speak, where our drivers dressed up in various things and were dressed up for the duration of the day. So they were actually transporting their clients all dressed up. We had some drivers that were dressed up as pirates and stuff like that, and it was just wonderful. And then we do, for team building, we did a cook-off, kind of like a potluck cookout. I was fortunate enough to be able to get a grill from one of our facilities, Solnit South. We had a giant cookout where people brought all kinds of food and stuff like that. So it's just things like that we do to try and keep people upbeat and happy, and it also gives people a chance to get together and talk, and because they're on the road a lot, and they don't get to spend a lot of time together. So it's a chance to kind of rein everybody in for a little bit. And it's, they stop in. It's not like they're there for 2 hours. They stop in when they can and eat and get a chance to talk. And it gives me a chance to catch up with some of the drivers too, and the rest of my staff, because they're busy, we're busy, and we talk on the phone and stuff like that, but we don't get to see each other. It's nice to get to see them, and we can laugh and make some jokes and talk about some things or whatever. And it's just, I think it's just a great team building thing, and it's just a way to say thank you to everybody for the hard work that they put in on a daily basis.
Our work is heavy, and it's we have great success stories, and then we have some things that are just heartfelt and sad. And I think that having that camaraderie and that unity and in creating that environment that you have for your staff is incredible. And it's a pleasure to work with you. And I hope that more of our staff become aware of the work that you're doing, and also for our community, our viewers, to understand that, the work can't get done within the walls of the department unless we're all working together, not working in silos, but working all together for the best interest of our children and families.
It takes a village.
It does take a village. You're absolutely right. But thank you so much for being on our show today, and we'll have you back again when you've doubled your staff. When you're at 100, we'll have you back on.
Well, I look forward to it. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for watching Doors to Hope and Healing. And now we're going to show you a video of a child who's looking for a forever home. Thank you again for watching.
Being a teen is tough. But for teens in foster care, not knowing what comes next, their world can feel upside down. And they need you to help turn it around. Provide support, stability, hope, and right their world. Learn how you can foster a teen.
Riverview Apartments is Bristol's two-time beautification award-winning residence community for adults age 55 and older. They offer 1 or 2 bedroom apartments with modern appliances, air conditioning, wall-to-wall carpet, and tiled floors. Both heat and hot water are included. Riverview also offers a wide range of activity rooms that include a billiard parlor and a spacious community room. It is handicap accessible with safe, secure parking for tenants and ample off-street parking for visitors. 860-940-6757 or riverviewbristol.com.